There we are. Okay. Hey, welcome to episode 12. So today I kind of want to talk a little bit about the uh, the way this is going to go. I'm going to change things around. I'm actually going to move the Saturday at 11. So I think in the evening I'm going to give that a shot. So I will be putting out a notification on that. You're getting it here if you're watching this on YouTube or other platforms. So the whole idea behind this is if I don't have anybody here, I will just pick a topic related to intuitive guidance, multidimensional anatomy, kind of the spiritual, esoteric stuff. And that all blends in with health and wellness. So you kind of get um, but what I'm here to do is offer you support. Okay. So if you have a block, something you're not able to address, look at, you've been stumped and you want to move on, I would love to help you. And if you want to book a session, I will have links below to do that. I do offer one-on-one, and I also offer annual or month-to-month mentorships. And they're a lot of fun. They're very unique. I don't use tarot cards, dowsing devices. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not an oracle. And the whole idea is that you reclaim 100% of your power, your authority, and the word is loosely, it's kind of used sovereignty, okay? And that's really what it's about. It's not about giving your power away. It's really about you reclaiming who you are, what you're about, why you're here, because you and only you are unique, okay? And you have a skill, a talent, a gift. And if you're not accessing that or using it to its fullest potential, let me help you. Let me guide you, okay? So, one of the things I want to do, I did have something I wanted to do a screen share with, which I'm going to go do now. Um, it is a little PowerPoint presentation, and what it's about, it's kind of cheesy, but it kind of ties into using your skill set. Okay, so let's see. Uh, yeah, there we go. All right, so boom. So I am now sharing my screen, right? There we go. I believe you can see it. Okay, so what I want to address is boost intelligence. Really what we're talking about here. This isn't my slide deck. This is somebody else's. I don't know who it is, but whoever it is, it'll show up on here and I give full credit to them. So biohack your brain to boost intelligence, tricks to increasing brain power. So really what we're talking about is when you increase brain power, right? What you're really doing, I'm going to move this over here. So we go there. There we are. What we're really talking about is expanding, accessing all of our functionality. Okay, all of the sort of abilities that we have that are dormant. From a lot of people, they don't know they've had them, or they do have them, and they kind of use them on and off. And that's where this comes in, right? So I'm kind of going to read, so apologize for that. The domesticated or homogenized human, which a lot of people are. And in today's day and age, it's changed. I mean, it's like people are just parroting, recapitulating some things. Um, I've even tried to be observant with myself, right? We want to allow for that vertical flow coming in that we've got, our own innate abilities, and they're here, they're accessing them. And for me, I know I have to segment my time, my day, because I work a part-time job at a restaurant. So then this is my love, this is my passion, and I want to move fully into that. But I need to access parts of my brain, the prefrontal cortex, all these different areas, and exercise them like I would physical exercise. So maybe you're stuck doing that. So let's go through this together, okay? Um, the domesticated human body does not get the same kind of environmental stimulation that it used to. We can agree on that. When it was exposed to the elements out in the wild, so outside of here, out of your office, your home, wherever. Many of nature's signals, even the stressful ones, promote robust health, but they are largely absent today from our sheltered indoor lifestyle. So biohacking, I just want to say rewilding. Let's use that. That's not my term. Biohacking. We're not hacking. Rewilding. Just getting, moving the pendulum back to center, right? We want to get back to the 0 point. Involves simulating those environmental signals to provide, but I don't want to simulate. I want to actually do it. Back into the state of robust health, which of course improves brain function. Brain function, let's just say that's the hub for interdimensional communication, right? Multidimensional as an eternal being, okay? These signals include heat and cold, light and darkness, color, sound, light, sound, one, which is another modalities called kathara. Electricity, nutrition, and rest. Scent triggers, olfactory bulb, your nose. Acute stress and relaxation, breath holding and hyperventilation, natural and artificial drugs, not really into that, sleep patterns, and so on. If you wish to experiment with rewilding, there is a risk. You must take full responsibility for the outcomes you get, right? Accountability and responsibility. If you are not careful, some biohacks can hurt you, and none of them is fully understood. Do your research. Don't believe a word I say. And again, this is just for educational purposes and entrainment, right? I think now is the time we're at a crossroads, pivot point, right? Where do we go? What do we do? We've got so much coming at us. And, I'm not trying to talk at you. I'm really just trying to relate. But since no one's here, I'm just sharing this information. Drop any questions you have in the replay, concerns, inputs, ideas. That's what this is all about, right? To expand awareness and consciousness. Okay. Some items in these slides link to research. Other items, again, I didn't put this together. I found this and I thought this is really good for right now. Control your light, right? Indoor lighting. That's something I talk about a lot. Dr. Kruse, Kruse, he's a neurosurgeon, and he talks a lot about this. Matt Maruka, which is one of his mentees, Dr. Alexander Wunsch. All of these guys are like light savants. They really understand the whole multidimensional, for the most part, light exposure, the nanometer, near infrared, far infrared, invisible, X-ray, gamma, all the multimedia of light spectrum. Okay, you can see these things here. This is smell a tree, being out in nature, control your light exposure. You can always pause this as you're watching it. Obviously, control your light. Light is key. I can't explain it enough. I use Defender Shield. I also have another product that I use called Memon. Anything we can do to mitigate our non-native EMF, dirty electricity, Wi-Fi, blue light exposure. I use the IRISTECH app from Daniel Gorev. I think he's Bulgarian. He created it. I will put links for all of this below. Some of them are affiliate links, companies that I've associated with, and your support is absolutely precious. I value it. So, and it helps you. That's the bigger picture, right? That it's helping and supporting you on your journey of rewilding. Okay. So blue blocking glasses, I have, these are actual like half ones, but they are clear blue blockers. So, and I have the blue blocking on my computer. Use amber LED light bulbs at night, which I do through this. Breathing, walking, relaxing, meditating, having some like chamomile tea. These are just basic things of just bringing yourself back into center. The effects of candlelight, that's really, really, really fun. And I'll actually upload this slide share here, so you can check this out. Sleep in complete darkness. Get blackout curtains. That's really important because that helps. When babies are born in some Aboriginal, Indigenous, Native American cultures, they are kept in the dark. Why? Because that stimulates the growth and activation of all of the multidimensional apparatus that we have, right? Your SCN, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is sort of the hub within the brain of the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the hypothalamus, the vagus, the prefrontal core. I mean, all of these interdimensional architecture that we have to transmit and receive data, okay? So it's absolutely important to have complete darkness in your bedroom. Bedroom is the sleep state. There should be no technology, no TVs, none of that stuff, okay? Very important. Avoid sugar, obviously, refined, synthetic. I tend to use, I do have some sugar, but I get it from natural sources. I use jaggery, which is Indian mineralized sugar. Okay, it's not refined. I typically use that if I need a little boost, or if I use that in my coffee. Also, organic dates. You could have 3 to 4 dates, and if you are hypoglycemic or if you have sugar issues, it doesn't raise your glucose levels. This is scientifically proven. You can do your research on that. It's nature's candy, as they call it. Antiparasitic, antiviral, anti so many different things, right? Uh, Use fat for fuel, coconut oil, avocado, macadamia nut, eggs, fats. Things you may or may not know. It's like ketogenic, but I'm not I'm not promoting a type of live it. I call it a live it, not a die it. We are living it, right? So I'm very careful with I try to be with my, no, I am with my words. Okay. Gamma aminobutyric acid, butyric acid, yes and no. Why we go nuts over sugar, healthy fats. So some of these have links on them. It'll take you right there, and there's a menu here. Hold your breath. I do Wim Hof breath work. I do different types of breath work. So you can come out of sympathetic into parasympathetic. Again, all of these things, rewilding, renaturing, okay, are addressing most of the issues that you may have. Okay, depression, anxiety, metabolism challenges, focus, sleep, uh, exercise. When we do these things, we stimulate these things because we're so, we're sitting, we're indoors, we're in front of these things. So we got to get moving and grooving. Okay, blowing, growing, and glowing. That's you. Let's do it. And if you need accountability and responsibility, that's where I come in as a mentor. I guide you, I hold you accountable, I remind you. And if we do something on a monthly basis, this is just a little plug. We do it through video, through audio, through text messages, through emails. I prepare documents for you. I do use AI very limitedly, but very strictly for providing guidance, which I also research as well. I don't just take AI's word for something. I use my intuition, and as you should as well, in my opinion. Buteyko method, really good. The Wim Hof method, pranayama, meditate. One of the things that we're seeing now that's really phenomenal that I find really interesting is there's a whole awakening and emergence, right? This is really cool, of using our extrasensory perceptions, our higher sensory perceptions, from telekinesis, pyrokinesis, aerokinesis, what's the one for water? Water kinesis. Just being able to use your own biofields to move and co-create with energy. I don't like to say manipulate it because we're not really forcing it. We're working with it. We're working with the elements, right? Air, water, ether, crystal. I think there's more than five. Fire, plasma, right? We have these abilities. Again, a lot of them are dormant. And the whole reason I'm sharing this is all of these things, when we're looking at rewilding, they activate these abilities within us. Yes, you have them. Okay. Don't let anybody tell you you don't. Okay. And if you ever were just shunned or made fun of because you even have them, you know, that's just separating those that align and those that don't. That's it. It's really nothing more than that. Reclaim your dopamine. What dopamine, these transmitters, right? We get dopamine from scrolling, from being in front of stuff, all the stimuli that we have. We can get a dopamine depletion, okay, where you just, your brain just feels fried. Um, so, what is dopamine? Dopamine stimulating substances, right? So even caffeine, I do coffee, but I think when used in a conscious way and not abusing it like anything else, and using the cleanest kind, all of these things. There's steps to these things. We can talk about things like people say meat and vegetables and all these things are bad, but you've got to put these in groups. How things are grown, focused, cultivated, harvested, used, the time of, there's just so many variables. And these are things that I go into when I work with clients. I don't just take things at baseline. We have to go deep. We have to look at the details. Okay. Drug addiction, alcohol addiction, this is all field attachment, right? This is when your fields are vulnerable and open, and people get affected. Social media, video game, creating your own victories. Imagine memory palaces, exercising the hippocampus, abstract visualization, imagery, emotion, the WOW strategy. That's new. I think I've heard that. Touch the Earth's negative field, the benefits of earthing, right? Clint Ober wrote the Earthing book, did a little movie. This is like 20 years ago. It's nothing new. It's just things that we're forgetting. It's rewilding. It's getting out in nature. It's renaturing. That's my term, renaturing, Um, no matter where you live, find an area where you can just get out, talk to a tree, a plant, the water. You'd be amazed because the community that everything's energy and energy is not created nor destroyed. It's perpetual and eternal and just changes form. That's it, right? There's earthing devices. Again, you have to be, oh, this is I love this. Negative ions. Now, this is a plug. This is a device that I use called the BIOMAT. This is one of the devices, if we want to call it a biohack. But what I love about it, it's using elements and minerals from nature. So amethyst and selenium. I think, is it selenium? Not selenium. No. I forgot the other crystal. But basically, amethyst creates far infrared, certain types of amethyst, and oh boy. Yeah. Anyway, I'll put the information in here, but it's a mat and it's an electric company's in business. Actually been around since prior to red light therapy. And when you lay on this mat, it actually supports your body in bringing it into parasympathetic. And almost immediately when you lay on it, you literally just, it's not like a heat mat, nothing like that at all. It literally brings you into parasympathetic mode. And they have the BIOMAT regular and the BIOMAT mini where you can kind of put in a chair. I'll put a link for that. And I'll probably do a video on that as well at some point. But again, all of these things, both in nature and when necessary, some devices, not all, I'm not a big fan of all of them. I do have some red light devices, but again, very, very selective of the process, the person, the reason, the season, the why, and how everything is assembled and put together. Consciousness, that's what we're looking at. And not something that it makes it, that's your baseline. It's something that's like you use it in addition to being in nature. Nature first. Okay. Ozone danger. Yeah, ozone is not a natural element on this planet. That's another area I can get into. Ion generators. And that's the thing. The BIOMAT produces negatively charged ions. Trying to think of that other crystal. BIOMAT, amethyst, and come on, it'll come to me. I'll mention it. Heat and cold, contraction, expansion, Nothing new here, right? We can get into all the details, biogenesis, brown adipose tissue. Wim Hof talks about that. When you expose yourself to cold, you've seen thermography. He has thermography on his website showing where the brown adipose tissue heats up. That's why you see these guys when they're walking, climb Mount Kilimanjaro or wherever, they actually, I've noticed this, like if you walk, right? So, and what they do is they usually have their hands covering their kidneys, right? So the kidneys, somehow the heat, the brown adipose fat, this is just my own interpretation of what's going on, but it's like, it actually, it does something where it creates heat in the body, like what those monks do when they practice tumo breath work, right? They create heat within the body. Heat shock proteins, acute stress relief. Smellotree aromatherapy. I have my oils. I'm always using aromatherapy. I have a company Oshadi. I love these guys. I have these they are hydrosols, so they are the steam distillation biodynamically created in glass. And this one is like called forest bathing, right? And this stuff is really great. I spray this around. You know, I'm doing what I can to renature, but even just going out, we have pine trees. I'm in Florida. There's pine trees all over, and I'll communicate with the trees. And just sitting in the air, there's microscopic microbes that are always being, when the winds kick up, they're floating all around, and you're taking in these pollens, right? And these pollens actually they're histamines, but they work co-creatively, synergistically with your body when you walk in nature. That's a form of communication when they're releasing these pollens or these microbes in the air. And usually trees will counter the effects of all the stuff being sprayed in the sky and all the other stuff. Okay, enough on that. Scents improve brain function, frankincense, wintergreen, what else? I love black spruce. That's one of my favorites. Lang Lang. I mean, there's so many. And there's companies, I'm talking about a lot of stuff here today, and I'll do my best to put all the links for all these things here. Conjure demons, trigger warning, emotional trauma, evolutionary trauma, where do phobias come from, limbic revision, keeping a journal. So without going too deep into this, the issues are in the tissues, and it's literally shaking. I know Bercelli, he has a thing called Shake It Off. He works with like post, trauma, PTSD from people that have been in war torn come because the body, if you look in nature, I actually did a video on my TikTok channel a long time ago. It was basically animals in nature when they're being chased, right? One of the things we do as humans is we take on these emotions, especially if you've been abused, and you hold on to these emotions in your body, in the cells. And what happens is it becomes solidified, crystallized. So people have certain physical postural dysfunctions that they've got because the emotions are so set in there and they need to be released. That can be through somatic work, through, Rolfing, massage, chiropractic. There's so many different practitioners and modalities that you can look into. But inevitably, it's energy that's been cauterized in the system, and it needs to be released. And once you do, it doesn't require years of therapy. It doesn't. And I've had clients where I've worked with that we've nipped it in the bud together, where we just go straight to the core, right? And it doesn't have to be something traumatic or dramatic. It just doesn't. Okay. Taking smart drugs, well, not so smart. Smartphones, anything smart, get rid of it. All the technology you see in these new homes and new cars, like I'm looking actually for a car, but not a new one with phones and the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi and the cameras. No, give me an analog car. That's it. Going from point A to point B. All this electric crap, forget it. It actually does you a disservice because it weakens your multi-sensory perceptions, your spatial sense, and all these things. Sometimes I think there are certain types of allopathic, pills and powders or things that can be used very, very rarely. I think there's always an option, but you need to go deeper and you need to do your research. Okay. Enough on that. Same thing with nicotine. Nicotine's a big thing. Dr. Artist talks about it. There's patches, there's synthetic stuff. But if you get the real organic, wild harvested nicotine, nicotine is a vasodilator. It does a lot to help regulate release, especially the spike proteins. There's a lot of, Dr. McCullough and a few other people that are out there that talk about that. So nicotine, not that you have to smoke, but there's ways to get it in your body that doesn't have any chemical or synthetic effects to it. L-theanine also, yeah, can be from foods, different types of foods. Boom, move. Benefits of, now I'm not into high intensity interval training. That's the two I's. I'm into high intensity training. Doug McGuff and there's another gentleman out of the UK that talks about this resistance training. And if you're going to train the brain and, everything else outside, there's so many, to me, I will never ever go to a gym. Why? You got the crappy air centralized. You've got plasma TVs that are pulsing blue light. You've got, you're using, weights that are made of iron. So you've got iron dysregulation. When it touches your hand, you see everybody with all the latex and the Lulu crap on shit, especially women. Women get way worse than guys do. All right. I'm going off on a tangent here. Sorry, but these things are important. So hopefully you like this. If you have any questions on anything I've stated, please drop them in the description or wherever. Just let me know if you have questions. Avoid fluoride. I mean, enough said about that. You can do the research. Eat bacteria, the gut and brain. Again, that's all of these things that we're looking at. Renaturing, all of this stuff helps you to bring you back to you. That's why I'm talking about this. We can get into the issues that you're having or the challenges, and I can look at all these things, but at the baseline, right? What is it? What are the actions that you're taking? What are things that need to shift? The only thing that's constant is change. And when you make the change, that's when you rearrange. And then you open up new opportunities for things to come into your reality. Okay. And as I'm saying this, I'm also invoking this in my own life, and I have been for a while. Okay. So I encourage you. And if you have questions or you need a help, you need a guide, I'm here for you. So just let you know that. Okay. Just a general reminder. Okay. So supplements. I want to point this out. I heard this from this guy, Scott Compton, a long time ago. I love the tone. The one supplement that I love is the Sunplement, right? The big orange thing in the sky. That is the main Sunplement. Other things, resveratrol, all of these things come from foods. MCT oil is an isolate, so that means they had to use some sort of chemical to extract it from coconut. The MCT chains, the amino chains, medium chain triglycerides actually is what they are. Go to Kula, Rishi, not big fan. Bacopa is really good. Bacopa Manieri is really good. Shaga, ashwagandha, cacao. One company that I actually love above and beyond everything else is Vital Purple. I will put a link for them. Purple cacao in Ecuador. Philip is the CEO. He also has Natural Zing, which is another company. This gentleman procures the most amazing products. And his purple cacao nibs, cacao beans, cacao powder. Wow, you talk about flavonoids and activating stem cells, which help with regeneration. Anyway, I'll put I'll have a lot of links here. Um, GPC, yeah, turmeric, a little bit overdone, I think. What else? Did I finish here? 23. Oh, I did. Okay, so that's everything. Boom. That's all I want to talk about today. That's pretty much the presentation with this. So that is that. Where am I here? Where's my video? Here we go. Let's go back here. Did I stop that? There we are. Okay. So just want to make that presentation. I know I dropped a lot, but again, what this really covers is all about how to support you in solving a problem, an issue that you have going on. And for the most part, that is usually, I say there's 5 pillars, okay? It's energetic, spiritual, emotional, mental, and the last place something shows up is physically. So if any of the other 4 have not been addressed in any way, shape, or form, then that results in some sort of disorganization, dysregulation, some kind of chronic condition. Whether it's mental, it's emotional, things just build up and they accumulate, and we want to get rid of it. We want to release it. We're not forcing, but we're releasing. Releasing is, detoxification, crying, emotions, sweating, pooping, urinating. It doesn't have to be complicated, right? It doesn't. It really doesn't. And if you want to get off the pain train and get on the No Stress Express, book your call. That's all I can tell you. If you or do it yourself. I mean, I support people doing it themselves, but if you want someone, not hand holding, but if you want to guide someone that'll hold you accountable, right? And I'll keep you on track. Oh, yes, I will. Okay. And we'll make steps and we'll make advances and you will reap the results of that. We both will. I get the result. My result for me is when you have the breakthrough, maybe after years or decades of not shifting, and all of a sudden it happens. It's not like a feather in my cap. This is what I'm here for. This is the code. It's not a hand out, it's a hand up, right? So I hope this helps. I hope this has invigorated you, has inspired you, has made you consider something that maybe you haven't looked at. And again, if you have any questions at all, concerns, drop them below. Let me know, and we'll go from there. And I hope you have a brilliant, wonderful, expansive day. Sending you lots of love. Ciao for now.